The writers made it know that Bonnie and Damon were never going to be in game in season 5 and 6. But for people who are Bamon shippers like me, we were still holding on to the fact that maybe it could happen. But then by the time we watched season 7 and 8, we realized, oh no, y'all ruined this relationship. Like, there's absolutely no way there's going to be any type of romantic relationship between Bonnie and Damon. And we were the fools. So I'm going to be pointing out the three most like obvious reasons as to why Bonnie and Damon were never going to happen season 8 and season 7. So let's chat about it. Hi, I'm Maria, and welcome back to my channel. Okay, so I have three reasons for why it became pretty apparent Bonnie and Damon were never going to be in game. The first reason being they turned Damon into a coward in season 7. And they did it in a way that literally made us as viewers be like, why would you do that to your girl Bonnie? Okay, to start off, basically in season 7, you're getting Bonnie and Damon as best friends. Season 5 and 6, they've been through the fire together. So season 7, they're starting off together on technically good terms. Now, our guy Damon is going through it because Elena is officially under. She's like not waking back up until Bonnie dies. Bonnie is Damon's best friend. So for him, he's like, wow, I'm in a pickle. He wants to see his girl Elena, but he doesn't want his best friend to die, right? Well, in the literal first episode, there is a moment between them where Bonnie is about to get hit by a car and Damon kind of hesitates to save her. But then he saves her. Then when he saves her, they have this like obvious chemistry together. It's still there, guys. The chemistry never dies between Bonnie and Damon. That's pretty apparent throughout the whole show. But the chemistry doesn't die. He's there saving her. And she's like, wait. Well, at first she's thanking him. And then she's like, wait, did you hesitate to save my life? He's like, girl, get over it. But then he explains to her and he's like, yeah, I kind of did. I know how long 3 seconds are because she was like, 3 seconds, Damon? Like, that could have been my life. And he's like, trust me, I know. He imagined being back with Elena in those 3 seconds. He said, but then I thought about losing you, Bonnie, and you're my best friend. I would never want to do that. I'm literally paraphrasing. But it's like, okay, Damon loves his girl Bonnie. That's his bestie. She's like, well, thanks. At this point, I'm like, oh, we're gonna get some Bonnie and Damon. Elena's gone. He literally just admitted, like, as much as he'd want to see Elena, he could not live. He wouldn't know what to do with himself if anything happened to Bonnie. So why the heck did the writers turn him into a coward and make him leave Bonnie? Also, in the beginning of season 7, literally the first episode starts with technically a flash forward moment of 3 years. Then they flash back, and technically the present day slash the past is that moment I just talked about with Bonnie and Damon, and her almost getting hit by a car. So we know future Damon is waking up somehow, and future Bonnie is in some type of asylum, it looks like, or a hospital. You're not really sure until you keep watching it. And you're really confused. You're like, what the heck is going on? Then you get down to it. And at first, Bonnie and Damon are two peas in a pod. They're best friends. They're saving everybody's lives. They're helping people. They're doing everything together. And out the cut, Damon starts to act like, woe is me. Everything's bad. Like, everything happens because I'm just like this. And if I was out of the picture, everything would be better. And I'm like, Damon, what? I did not understand the writer's approach to this. They wanted Damon to feel like he was just the bearer of it all. So y'all are gonna have him leave his best friend, who he just said he don't know what he would do if anything happened to her. Now they tried to make it as if he's taking himself out of the picture to save Bonnie's life, to save Stefan's life, to save everybody's life that he feels like he's ruining. Because at this point, they're besties, they're saving the day, but stuff is starting to go a little bit wrong, and he feels like he's the reason for everything that's starting to go wrong. It's not really adding up to me. Bonnie is his girl. Like, and I literally mean that in like, that is his homie. Like, he has her back. She has his back. She has his back so bad that technically her future love interest Enzo. Oh, she chooses Damon over him. She chops Enzo's hand off in a moment where Damon and her are kind of in a pickle and whatever. So the writers make him a coward and they make Damon leave and leave Bonnie. They also make him have the audacity to leave her and give her a letter and not actually say goodbye. She found out he was leaving. He did not tell her. She was like, so you were just going to leave without saying goodbye? And she said, you don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. And she leaves, and he's just kind of like, sorry, Bonnie. Just, he's a little disinterested, a little disheartened at the same exact time. But either way, when she finally walks out that door, he still goes to go like make himself fall asleep. Not really fall asleep in the vampire world. You just I guess you're kind of falling asleep, but they dry their blood and then they're not living. They kind of are like dead, but they're not. Either way, that's what he did. And he left his girl Bonnie. What the writers tried to do in this moment is convince us that he was absolutely doing this for Elena because he loved Elena so much, because he wanted to see Elena, because he missed Elena. But what they forgot to understand is that doesn't make sense for everything he had just been through in season 5 and 6 with Bonnie. His relationship with Bonnie had taken a turn. Why the heck would he leave her? That it just doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. Like you have to convince me. I didn't get that. He's doing this for Elena, but yet he's going to miss out on all the years of Bonnie growing old. You mean to tell me he would do that? Like he would literally leave Bonnie just so that he could wake up when she died? Why would he do that? Why not have just let her die when Kai was doing what he did if he missed Elena, if he wanted Elena so bad? He had already established he cared about Bonnie. He was not going to do anything to her. So, okay, I'm just going to take myself out of the picture. But you're never going to see your best friend again. No, 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 no. That didn't, to me, match Damon as a character for what they had set up for him. Maybe a once upon a time Damon, but the one that had just been through season 5 and 6 with Bonnie, that didn't make sense to me. And then they're like, okay, well, he's just going to take himself out of the picture. Okay, and you're going to leave Bonnie alone and potentially die with everything that's going on. And you're going to say, I just miss Elena so bad. No. That's why we started to realize, oh, Bonnie and Damon's never going to happen. It's absolutely never going to happen. Because in the midst of all this, too, the moment that Damon is out the picture, guess who swoops in, which is reason 2. They give Bonnie a love interest with Enzo. And I can't lie, their relationship was super cute. I actually really loved their relationship because it was a hate to love. Who doesn't love a hate to love relationship? It's exactly what we were going to get with Damon and Bonnie, except for Damon and Bonnie would have had the best friendship in the middle. Enemies to best friends to lovers, yes. But no, that got cut. But anyway, between Bonnie and Enzo, you're actually kind of starting to like Enzo. You know why? Because he's there. Damon is gone. Damon's out of the picture. What's happening to Bonnie is happening, and no one else is there to swoop up and save her because Bonnie is literally always alone on the show until Enzo comes along and he saves the day. And when I literally looked like he saves the day. Bonnie is actually out um back, she's in a building and she's trying to get stuff, and then these people are coming to get her. I think they're the regiment. Who are those people? No, oh my god, I'm literally quoting Nikita. I have a lot of TV shows running through my head. I'm going to insert the name of whoever was trying to get her right here, because I do not know why I'm blanking on that name. Either way, they're literally trying to get Bonnie, and Enzo had already been working with them, so he knew what was going on, and he came through and literally saved her. And at this point, she doesn't really trust them, but what they have had between the beginning of season 7 to this moment is a build-up arc of them constantly kind of running into each other, and you know that they were going to be the ones that were going to be lovers because of the fact that their hate was so passionate from the beginning. Just as passionate, I say, as her and Damon, if not, who had more passion between them? That's actually a really good question. Was it Damon and Bonnie and him, or Bonnie? Damon and Bonnie. They still win. They still win. They still win. But because you know that Bonnie and Enzo are actually going to be in the game, there is a little bit more passion the writers are willing to put into the lines than what they were willing to do with Damon and Bonnie's characters. Also, I mean, you just kind of start rooting for Enzo because of how much he has Bonnie's back, because of how much he's actually there for her. And you're like, dang, Damon, like, why? Why'd you have to drop the ball so bad? Especially for a girl as respectable as Bonnie. Like, the girl is someone you respect. And Damon dropped the ball. Like, he literally broke the trust that Bonnie had with him. Like, why would you want to break that trust with Bonnie? Like, she's the best character. You would never want to break her trust, Damon. And the writers did that. They literally did that so that as a viewer, we could start to look at Damon and just kind of be like, I don't know if I even want you with Bonnie anymore because of what you just did. Like, we don't know. By the time Damon comes back and realizes how big of a mistake he made leaving everybody, especially Bonnie and his brother Stefan, Enzo and Bonnie they're legit. Like, there's kind of no coming back from how legit them two are. They're very much in love, very much the love of each other's lives at this point. But you can't help but ask yourself, would Bonnie and Damon have been that? Could they have been the greatest love of each other's lives? And the answer is absolutely yes, they could have been. But the writers didn't want that. They wanted Elena to be Damon's love of his life. And I really just think they missed out on the greatest opportunity to have that like powerful love story of going from hating each other to needing each other to then actually liking each other while needing each other to wanting to be around each other and becoming literally best friends. Season 7 was the perfect time to give us this love arc. But we got Enzo and Bonnie. And as much as I love Enzo, I was always going to root for Damon and Bonnie first. But the writers played her anyway. And they took out Enzo. So clearly, like I said the last video, they hated Bonnie. They literally hated her. And I still don't know why they hated Bonnie so much. Oh my God. But when Damon does come back, there still is this chemistry between Damon and Bonnie that you're like, wow, y'all still got the chemistry. Like it still hasn't died off yet. And you realize you're like, okay, Damon and Bonnie have chemistry and they have history with each other. Wow. That's a joke in its own self. Like I could literally tie that to some. They had chemistry together, they had history together. They literally attended school. No, that didn't work. I don't have the joke. Somebody tell me what the joke would be because I can't do it. Anyway, they have all of this. And so when Damon finds out Bonnie's actually sick, oh my gosh, I did not explain that. Guys, I'm kind of not focusing on all of that stuff, but I probably should to like explain it better. But at this point, Bonnie is sick because of the pills that Enzo has been giving her so that she could not be um on the forefront, on the radar of the people who I said were trying to get her. And I'm gonna have to drop the name again because I still don't remember the name. Why did I forget about the name of this group? Oh my gosh. Either way, Damon is feeling frustrated with himself. He's like, oh my God, I left my friend and it did not turn out the way it was going to turn out when I left. I thought she was going to be better off. She was actually worse. And he also feels a little salty because guess who stepped in when he stepped out? Enzo, which is funny because a little fun fact, Damon and Enzo also used to have a friendship back in the 1800s or something, 18 or 1900s. And he left Enzo too. So Damon kind of has a history of leaving people whom he's supposed to care about for his own selfish reasons. I just didn't think he'd do that to Bonnie. I did not think he'd do that to Bonnie. But Damon's frustrated with Enzo. He's kind of trying to find somebody to blame for what he did to Bonnie. Bonnie checks him. She's like, absolutely not. He was trying to save my life. And yeah, I got messed up, but he was here. You left. Where were you? So Damon has no kind of ground to stand on at this point. And then he tries to get in Enzo's face. It's the funniest thing, to be honest, them two when they're going at it. Because it's so obvious that Bonnie's going to choose Enzo at this point. Ugh, it's obvious and it's sad, though, because you're like, everything that Damon and Bonnie had kind of just simmered out. And yet you get moments though where Bonnie still is super hurt and she has not read his letter yet. She has not read his letter. Damon wants her to read that letter. He wants her to read that letter because that letter is actually very important with the stuff that he said. At this point, she doesn't care. She's just mad at him and she has the right to be. And he comes back and he kind of is like trying to save her life too. Which leads me to reason number 3. Every time Damon and Bonnie have any type of mention of their love, Elena's name or person gets brought up and mentioned. It's like they can't even have their own relationship without Lena being in there, like even in a platonic way. Literally, the scene that I was mentioning is Bonnie is under some type of situation. She got, how do I describe it? She's not under a spell, but she's kind of under like a curse to where she has to kill vampires. And like she becomes like a vampire hunter. There we go. Bonnie is officially now like a vampire hunter in a sense, and Damon is her target. And Damon is literally like, Bonnie, like, stop, Bonnie. But then he gives up because Bonnie's literally trying to kill him. And he's like, okay. He's like, Bonnie, like, look at me, look at me. I brought you here because I want you to know I think you're this. He's naming out all this good stuff he thinks she is. And then he's like, and I love you the same way Elena loved you. What do you mean the same way Elena loved you? Why did that get added in? Writers, why? I don't get it. Literally, it could have just been an I love you. No friend, even with friends, you don't say, and I love you the same way so and so. No, you just love your friend. That does not have to be romantic. It's platonic and it's the power of the love. It kind of ruined that scene, and I'm not the only person who thinks that. You go to that scene on different YouTube clips and you read the comments, people get mad at the fact that he added Elena's name. And I was like, writers, why? Like, we get it. We get it. Elena, he loves Elena. He loves Elena, so him loving Bonnie is the same way Elena loved Bonnie. Can't be in his own way, right? No, it has to be because of Elena. The writers did that. And it's kind of funny because in what you get in season 8, because Elena hasn't been here all of season 7. So by the time season 8 comes and they've only ever been able to mention Elena, she's never actually showing up. By the time their little siren story arc, it's such a weird storyline. No lie. A little interesting, very dark, very crazy, weird. I don't know. Either way, the siren storyline that they ended up going with, there's this crazy siren girl who has Enzo and Damon kind of under her control. And she's like, to Bonnie, she's like, what is it about you that has all these men just like fawning over you? She's like, what is it? And then Bonnie's like, I don't know. And then she's like, so like you and Damon never, she's like, absolutely not. She's basically implying like you and Damon were never with each other when y'all were in that universe together in that alternate world. Bonnie was like, no. She was like, these men love you though. What is it that's so special about you, Bonnie? And okay, the writers are obviously teasing us at this point because everybody knows that. Everybody's supposed to know that Damon loves Bonnie and Enzo loves Bonnie. But we only cared about Damon loving Bonnie and y'all didn't give us that. And Elena was off the show. Her character was gone. Why didn't we get them? Eventually, y'all, Bonnie does forgive Damon. She does. Her heart is for Enzo. She forgives Damon, and season 8 happens, and Damon and Enzo get trapped with the Siren Lady. So her two best guys in the world are gone. Now, because she is in love with Enzo, Damon definitely is taking second tier, and the Siren Lady uses that against Damon and Bonnie by making Bonnie choose, and she obviously chooses Enzo, which, to be honest, very surprised at that scene, but loved it. I did. Damon kind of deserved it for what he did to her. Sorry, Damon, I love you, but yeah. Um, which is funny because, like I said prior, she literally chopped Enzo's hand off to save Damon in season 7. So that shows you how much changed in a short amount of time. Well, not really short, kind of short. But let's just jump to an honorable mention. Not necessarily something that ruined or didn't ruin, but it just made me sad because like we didn't get the ship. Ugh. It's when the letter is finally read. It's when Bonnie finally reads the letter that Damon gave her. Actually, she doesn't read it. He reads it out loud to her. And she's crying because he remembered the letter by heart. He knew it by heart. Oh my God. It was actually such a beautiful scene. I'm not even going to lie. Like, she starts to cry. And Damon's like, I just think you're amazing, Bonnie Bennett. And you like deserve the world in essence. And he basically says that he is a coward. Like, he could not say any of this to her face. And he wishes he could have. And it hurts. Like, that letter, the moment, like, then she gives him a hug, and it kind of solidifies the end of all of that after the letter is finally read. Like, all the hurt, the pain, the anger. Bonnie has Enzo, so she is technically in a good space. She's let this all go. And this is one thing I want to mention. Every time Bonnie and Damon kind of have everything in a good ways, it does start to seem like Damon doesn't care about her as much in whatever scenes are next to come or whatever episodes are next to come. Like, I feel like Bonnie has to kind of be in a tragic situation for Damon to realize he cares about her sometimes. Sometimes. That's what the vibe feels like, especially this scene when Enzo finally gets taken out. Like, you literally see it when Damon's like, okay, but is Elena okay? Like, Bonnie, what's wrong? Is Elena okay? He didn't even realize, like, Enzo just got taken out. And she's like literally hurt. She's gutted. And you're pressed about Elena. But okay, I get it. You want to make sure Elena's alive. She's like, Elena's okay. Enzo just died. Your brother took him out. And yeah, Damon cared, but I feel like he didn't, the writers didn't give, I feel like, what Bonnie needed from the other characters to acknowledge how terrible it was that Enzo got taken out. Like, the characters surrounding her, that wasn't really, they were sad for her. And Stefan was guilty, which, by the way, is a whole nother conversation in itself. Like, they literally, after all that Stefan and Bonnie went through that whole show, they had the cutest relationship. Y'all gonna make Stefan take out Enzo, and then their relationship is just weird after? Guys, the show started to get so weird season 8. Oh my gosh, it started to get weird. That was the saddest scene ever when Bonnie screams when Enzo gets taken out. And it was from Stefan, and then she gets him the cure and he's alive. Like, nah, crazy. But there you have it, guys. Those are the most, I think, obvious reasons why, as viewers, we started to realize Bonnie and Damon was never going to happen. And it was over. And it was the writer's way of letting us know, like, we get it. Y'all wanted this, but y'all aren't going to get it. And y'all got to get over it. So then they give us Enzo. And we're like, okay, sure. But then they took him out. And I'm still confused about that. Like, I really don't get it. Like, she didn't get a happy ending. Caroline in the middle. She didn't really get a happy ending either. Like, Stefan died too. He sacrificed himself. You could say she had claws, but we all know what happens there because of the original. So, meh. And then Tyler died. Spoiler alert. I'm literally going in. Spoiler alert. Then you have Matt. Matt? Yeah, no. Literally, they only gave Elena and Damon kind of like a happy ending in a sense because they actually got to be together. And also, it's the craziest thing because technically, the rule for Elena being under is no magic could wake her up. And somehow magic woke her up from Bonnie. So it's crazy. Then they sent my girl Bonnie off to Africa. Literally, they give her a pamphlet that says to Africa. They didn't even give her a country. They gave her the continent. Y'all, this is just, it's insane. Like, they did it dirty. But it's one of those shows with, as dirty as they did, I'll always love Vampire Diaries. I'll always rewatch it. I'll always care about it. I'll always talk about it. And it's just one of those things, it's fun. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and let me know what you're interested in me talking about next. I love the Vampire Diaries. I always keep the series open because there's so much you could always talk about. And I don't know. Well, I don't know who's next, but I'm looking forward to it. And until next time, much love. Bye.